There's a hymn in our hymnal, number 62. Its words trace back to St. Francis of Assisi, circa 1225 AD. I won't ruin this devotional by singing it. Still, its words ring with truth. Can you sing it at least in your heads and hearts? All creatures of our God and King, lift up your voice and with us sing, O praise ye, O praise ye, Alleluia, Alleluia, Alleluia. I thought that since last week's devotional on depression was so serious, and this last week's national events have been so serious, and because the week before I did a devotional about birds and squirrels and raccoons that seemed to resonate with so many, I thought I'd lighten it up today and have some fun sharing with you about some animals with which I have worshiped through the years. We can't now be worshiping in person, but boy, have I ever had encounters with some real critters at church. My church in North Carolina had problems with bats. Bats in the belfry and everywhere else. We first discovered the problem when we got a new youth minister and took him in to see his new office. It smelled. It reeked. We finally discovered that a bunch of bats had gotten trapped in his closet in a cavity in the wall. When we opened it up, we took out a 5-gallon bucket of bat guano. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Trust me, it stunk worse than anything I've ever smelled. I learned you can actually buy a disinfectant specifically for biological smells. Good to know. Another incident came with VBS. We had some 40 kids in the hallway when a bat decided to take flight among us. I grabbed a hymnal to swat it because, using a Bible would have been sacrilegious. But try as I might, I couldn't connect. Mighty Casey struck out. Most of my animals in church experiences occurred in my first pastorate. It was an iconic white-frame country church, the stuff that postcards are made of. It sat on a little rise on a hill, surrounded by a small cemetery with an outhouse out back. I had animal encounters there that I won't describe. Suffice it to say, now any church I serve with indoor plumbing feels like a promotion in my ministry. For the record, our church has 21, every one of them inside. The interior of my first little church was as you might expect it. Wood paneling, painted white. At some point they put in a drop leaf ceiling with fluorescent lighting. Beside the frequent visits of dogs who would wander in to sit and worship with their owners, we often have had mice make their home in the piano. There is nothing that will enliven a dead worship service than to see the pianist standing on her bench and shrieking. We had one Sunday school class, and it met in the sanctuary. I taught it. One Sunday we had to stop Sunday school because a half-dozen baby squirrels were running under the pews. We caught them and went back to our lesson. My favorite incident came when I got a call one Sunday. It was a winter Sunday. Got the call before the service. "Preacher, don't bother to come to church today. The swallows made a nest and stopped up the furnace. No heat." The next Sunday, you can be sure that I preached on this psalm from Psalm 84, verses 1 through 4. No kidding, this is really in the Bible. How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord of hosts. My soul longs, indeed it faints, for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh sing for joy to the living God. Even the sparrow finds a home, and the swallow a nest for herself, where she may lay her young at your altars, O Lord of hosts, my King and my God. Happy are those who live in your house, ever singing your praise. Like so many of you, I long to be worshiping again in person in the house of the Lord. I long to be where even the swallow finds a home. There was one other incident in that little church. One Sunday I was preaching along and I noticed that everyone, I mean everyone, wasn't looking at me. They were looking above my head. What? Had I suddenly developed a halo? It was a 5-foot long black snake up in the fluorescent light right above my head. We turned off the lights, opened the blinds, moved to the other side of the sanctuary, and I finished my sermon. All creatures of our God and King, I long to be back in our sanctuary, but maybe not with all of them.